Okay, so I'm doing an amazing job. I'm proud of myself. I have made a video every day for, I think it may have been a week, maybe more. I haven't really checked because it's not really about how far I've come. It's just the moment, and I'm pretty excited just in this moment that I'm devoting the 10 minutes, 10 to 13, I know. I don't want to make it too much longer than that. And I wanted to talk about something really special to me. I was asked the other day, what are some techniques that you do, Angela, in order to manifest? Now, I don't really go around telling people or sharing too much of my own personal scripting. You can call it scripting, you can call it journaling, you can call it writing. I have my own internal dialogue, and I also have this voice that is much more calm and softer, and I'm aware that it's not my ego. My ego's thoughts are usually coming from a fear. It's usually whatever makes me feel extremely uncomfortable, and once I become aware of that, I know that it's not real. My ego's just it's sitting. I like to think of life as a chair, okay? There's just this chair in this room, an entirely empty room. And now you, as the person, you get to sit in this chair. And it's a swivel chair, so it swivels. So you get a 360 view of everything that you want to look at in this room. You also get to imagine what goes into this room, what doesn't go into this room. But you are the person in the chair, and you get to control which way it goes. So if you're looking over here and you don't like the way that it looks, just turn your chair. I guess that's one of the techniques. It's called the chair. I guess I just call it the chair. I mean, I never really had a name for it. I haven't really had to explain it to anybody. So I guess we could call it the chair technique. Your life, an empty room, and you sitting in a chair. And you just pick the perspective from the chair that you're sitting in and what it is that you want to see, and turning away from what you don't want to see. People will say, isn't that just naive, Angela? Are you just putting on rose-colored glasses? Well, aren't you just creating imaginary fears that don't really exist because your mind is just doing it based on an egotistical, like, pretty much just based on your ego. It's just doing what it knows how to do because it thrives on fear. It thrives on, its survival is basically, it's so afraid of itself being destroyed that it seems like it's almost destroying the inner you in its process. It's not that you have to destroy your ego. I wouldn't recommend trying to do that. I would recommend loving it. Love your ego. Love all the parts of yourself, even the parts that are like, oh, you're really not good at this. Yep, everyone just thinks you're a failure, so you might as well be like, any negative self-talk you hear, just get back in there and pretend like it's like a 2-year-old. You're really not going to take it don't take it as face value. It's like, dude, you're 2, what do you know? No. And then you just say like, oh, it's okay. Like, I love myself. I'm doing incredible things. I'm better than I was yesterday. I am literally the most amazing person that I know because I do such incredible and amazing things. And there's no such thing as failure, because you can never fail at anything, because everything is just a remembering process. Remembering that you have a future moment to do, act, be, and have whatever you want. It's choice. So I made the choice to go back and start journaling. I think I already said some people might call it scripting. There's different words for everything. Mainly it's just, I do some scripting, which is sitting in your now moment and writing out what the future looks like, but in a present tense. Now, I used to do this a few years ago, but what I was not aware of, what was actually lacking big time in this process, was the belief. It was the emotion behind what I was writing. So I would sit down and I would write, I want $25,000. I want $25,000. And I would just write it like repeatedly, with so much repetition, like repetition was going to make it. All you need to do is write it the one time. But you have to have that feeling and believe that you already had that $25,000. Boom, it's done. It was said, it was thought, so it's done. And then just walk away from it. That's all. But what I'm telling you is, it's a very, very, very important part is the emotion you have behind the thought. Also, placing too big of a want or a desire or a manifestation that your mind can't actually even somewhat conceive of, make it a little smaller. So for me, I started out with $10,000. I was like, oh, and I took away the want. The want just dropped off, and I have $10,000. And then my mind's like, yeah, how are you going to get it? I was like, no, we don't need to know how. We just believe. And that's it. And every time I had the how come in to ask me, I was like, no. all I have to do is believe. And I did. And then after the 10,000 came, I was like, all right, we got 10,000. Let's go for 25,000. Sat right down, did the same thing, wrote the same thing down. $25,000 later. But it wasn't just about, oh, I want $25,000, because the wanting of something literally pushes it away. Because what you're giving off is that you don't already have it. I think humans place a lot of their wealth on it being outside of them, like looking down at a check or looking at your bank account and seeing numbers. Well, I liked to make vision boards. So I would take checks that I would write to myself, like my $10,000 check. And then I had these boards with Beats headphones, which I managed to manifest, and a Jeep, which I manifested, and so many cards that I made of things that I just wanted to have in my life. And then I started making like background pictures on my phone. So the pool here at the apartment was a background on my phone for like 2 weeks. And then boom, there was a little bit of worry thoughts like, well, they're going to want this and how do I get that? And none of it even happened. So I would tell myself like, just stop. And I would just stop. And all the things that I even for a single solitary second thought could actually be a worry never even happened, because I didn't give enough momentum to that thought. I just let it go, or I changed it, or I dropped it, and I just was like, oh, there's something in my eye. Again, I can't stop the video because it has to be reality, and the reality is there's something in my eye. Cool. So I also have this other part of journaling that I like to do where it's I like to call it, some people have called it, streaming consciousness. It's not very often that I share my journal with others, but I decided that I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to be real. So this is my current journal. There's actually a lock code on it. So I put in the code. I got it for Christmas. It's pretty awesome. I like that. I've had lots of journals. So there is something that I wanted to read, and I wanted to just share it with you to see, whoever's watching, if this is something that you might like to do. You might like to do. So I'm just going to read it. I don't write Dear Journal anymore. It's normally just Dear Self. And again, please keep an open mind. This is a streaming of consciousness. So I have an Angela voice, and then I hear a much softer, subtle voice. Some people will be like, that's really weird. Yeah, it is really weird, and it's really amazing too. So it begins with, Dear Self, why am I so afraid? Because I know what it feels like to be somewhere I don't want to be. And then I hear this voice that says, so don't go back there. And then I'm responding with the how. The thought replies, follow the bouncing ball. And then I proceed to go with what if, and then stop. Imagine the what if you want. Use your imagination to create. Give attention only to the thoughts that serve what you want. The universe will give you what you focus on. Life is abundant. You are abundant, beautiful, prosperous, kind, loving, giving, and you need not fear anything. We are always, always here guiding you. Follow your dreams, Angela, without doubt, without resistance, without hesitation, with faith, with love, with trust, with passion, with desire, with belief. Wow. All right. That's fun to go back and read those conversations with myself. I love it. So if you are somebody who is looking for some skills, some techniques, some ways, a process, try creating the mind now. Some of the ways that I do things. Journaling. Try journaling. At first it might be a little bit difficult. Maybe you'll just write everything that you're thinking about. But as you're writing, pay attention to how what you write makes you feel. And then try to change what you write a little bit to release a little bit of that feeling and maybe turn it into a better feeling thought. And then as you're writing, go to a place of gratitude and write about what's happening right now and be grateful for everything that's to come that you could imagine, for all of the things that you desire, but do it now and write thank you for it all happening now. As I was finishing writing this, I was sitting down and I wrote, I decided to eat a peach. It does not taste good. And then the reply I received was, stop eating it. Yeah, sometimes there's wisdom, a lot of wisdom in my journal. I have a lot of them and a lot that I want to continue to say. We're getting to that time again, and I wanted to remind everybody that tomorrow night, 3:10 at 7 p.m. Standard Eastern Time, we are going to be having the conversation. I am so excited for this. Again, if you have made it to the end of this video, you want more information, you want the Zoom link, please let me know. I would love to send it to you. I would love for you to be there. I would love to hear everybody's ideas, thoughts, concepts, and share as much as we can in this conversation tomorrow evening. I'm going to leave it here with that little quote that I'm eating a peach and I don't like it. And stop eating it. Seems so simple, yet we like to make things complicated. I am enjoying this journey. I hope you're enjoying your journey, and I plan to be back tomorrow with another video. Love you all.